a 2011 Hyundai Santa Fe 3.5 liter V6. Got the intake lower manifold covered so nothing gets in there. I just pulled off the oil fill tube, cleaned out all the gunk out of that. There's your oil pressure sensor, not oil pressure sensor, oil control valve. You have to take off this little adapter. It's got a little rubber bushing in the center. Take that off in two 10mm bolts. Then you have to take out the valve cover to get it out from the inside. Also, there is 18 bolts on here going around the outside, and then there's 3 right down the center. My whole problem is codes 00012, 00014, 340, and another one I can't remember right now. All has to do with oil control valves, cam positioning sensors, crankshaft positioning sensors. And while I'm in doing this, I'm also going to remove all of the oxygen sensors and replace them. There's some back here, 2 back there, and then there's a couple, one there, and then there's one on the side over here, down there. So right now I have all the bolts out for the valve cover. I have the oil fill tube out, and everything is disconnected except the fuel rails. I have the master wiring harness off. Well, mostly off. I have some things connected just so I could just move it out of the way. I didn't want to take it completely apart. It's a bitch to get back together and remember where everything goes. But in a minute, I'll start taking the valve cover off. Alright, let's get to it. Take out some of this stuff first. Taking out the ignition coils right now. I already have them. And I think I got everything else off there, so let's try this again and see if I can get this valve cover off of here. Well, there's a chance that I forgot a bolt somewhere. Got one side over there. Make sure I got all these out of the way. This is a little bit irritating having this wire harness in the way, but I didn't want to take the whole thing off and try to figure out how to get it back on, or figure out all the connections again. I just wanted to worry about the connections I already wrote down for. So maybe, I don't think that's connected to the thing, but to the valve, but I'm going to take off the cam positioning sensor just in case. Maybe I think that bolt's way too low to be causing any hang up there. Could just be some really good RTV on top of that valve cover gasket holding it to the engine. In case anybody's curious, this is a cam positioning sensor on the 2011 Hyundai Santa Fe 3.5 liter V6. These basically tell the car where the cam's positioned at. Cam positioning sensor. Won't be the first time, but here we go. Like losing 10mm. Alright. Valve's gonna come off now. This over here, out of the way. Screwdriver. Put right through there. Hopefully that holds that in place. DIY, you gotta kind of use what you can. And the wire's over here in the way, but shimmy it out there, and there's my valve cover. Valve cover off to change, so that's a good thing. So that was how you take off the valve cover. There's about 18 bolts on there. Take them off around the side. Might need to break it a little bit to, if they RTV'd a little bit. Valves all seem to look okay-ish. They're not horrible. Really dark oil in there. But that is most likely going to be my issue. That is my oil control valve. And it looks like shit. Timing chain, pretty tight. Looks like it's on there. It doesn't mean it's good, just means it's on there tight. I guess we take off the oil control valve. I'm recording cleaning this. Hopefully it doesn't turn off on me again. Sorry about the angle. But basically cleaning off all the gunk on this thing with a pick first, because the brake clean will not take it all off in one shot. I was doing another part of the car earlier with all these gunky pieces on it. I mean, look at those things. It's covered all over with that. I've cleaned it up a little bit, got a little bit more to go left on it. Just had to go get some more stuff from inside. Really only taken like, about 3-4 minutes on it so far. I went and got a scouring pad, cut it up to a bunch of different sizes because I'm going to need it for some other things I'm cleaning. I got a little bit of WD-40. I also have some carb cleaner, just whatever it takes to get it off. I've gotten all the major gunk off so far. I've got it pretty clean so far. So I got a lot of the stuff off the outside, all the gunk and everything. I could still clean it up some more, but I just want to stop for a minute, get inside, and make sure everything's degunked inside. So you need a clamp to hold on to it, so you can break this screw, or bolt, which is a 5mm Allen key. This is my little tiny weak ass bench vise, but I love this thing because I can attach it almost anywhere, and it makes it a lot easier when you're working outside, which I work in my driveway because my garage is full of stuff from when we moved in. We still haven't put it everywhere. Owned the house a couple years, just been really lazy, a lot of car problems, things like that. Life gets away from you. You don't really have your shop like you wanted. So this is going to be taking that bolt out. So I've got it in the vise. The paper towel is not needed, but I put it in there because I use this vise for a whole lot of stuff. It's just handy, real small, portable. I can take it around and use it on stuff. Let's see if I can get a good angle of this. No, I'm not going to be able to, but basically you're going to want to get a 5mm Allen, and you're going to put it right in there. You want to break that loose so you can look inside this and make sure it's all clean in there if you're going to try to reuse this. Like I said earlier, I have a replacement part on the way, but I believe I have the exhaust side coming because I can't find the intake side for cheap. They're like $200 everywhere. So I'm going to see if this is repairable, cleanable, whatever I can do to try to hopefully reuse this one for now. So I want to check the inside, make sure nothing's broken inside, clean it out, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take out that bolt, and I'll start filming once I get it open again. So I got the pieces apart, and this is the main covering portion. Still a little bit dirty. I'm going to clean that off a little bit more, take that over there, clean it by itself. But the other part is what concerns me a little bit. There is a lot of glitter there, but that could just be collected from a long time. I'm hoping, because this thing's probably been in there since the car was made. Little metal comes off all the time. Hopefully there's nothing big. I did put a boroscope down in the pistons. The pistons all look fine, but something has been slowly degrading and getting into the oil control valve, and it's been filtered out and stuck in there. So I'm going to clean that off too and finish that up and put it back together, and then check it with an ohm meter and see if it's got the correct ohm, and then put the battery in and check to see if this thing actually has the right voltage going through it. If it does, I will be reusing this one. Fast forward till a little bit later, and here's all the parts are looking. So Sorry for the shade, some time has passed. I actually was going to order a new one because the one I have on the way is for the rear. I thought I had it for the front, but hopefully I can replace the rear one. So I got that nice clean. Did all out. Got this all cleaned. Kind of scraped off paint, thought it was grease, but you know, oh well. All the connectors are all clean in there. I don't know if you can see that filter. That filter looked disgusting earlier. Now it looks good. So fingers crossed when I put it back together and I put it in there that it actually has voltage, because the only other ones I can find are 2 to 3 weeks out and $300. Hopefully I can find one cheaper than that soon, but oh well, this one hopefully will work until then. I put a little bit of multi-purpose grease on there, just a tiny bit, just enough to spread around a little bit to give it some lube to hopefully put it back together in the housing set. I'm going to attempt to do this now while using my shirt pocket as the camera holder. So basically, back in the same way you put it together, and like that, and then you'll put your bolt back in. And I'm going to go grab that bolt now. And you end up with this. And when it started, this thing was horrible, if you remember. Now I can see that it's Hyundai Kia. And even on the connector back here, I don't know if you can see that. No real sun here. Let's see. Hyundai Kia on there too. I cleaned a ton of grease off this thing. Fingers crossed that it has voltage. Okay, I've got the part completely clean. It is right here. It is clean. Everything's been gone through on it. Made sure everything's good. Mating surface is nice. Connector's nice and clean. Can't get a good image of that, but there we go, a little bit further out. Can't really see too great in there anyways, but it's cleaned. And if any of you are doing this at home or have to run into this, and like me, you can't get a new oil control valve, there is a way you can test these to see if it was even worth your time. I should have tested it beforehand, but I spent all the time cleaning it. So here is the oil control valve. What you're going to do is, first off, you want to take a multimeter and go to ohms. We're going to test the ohms first on it. So, one second, see if I can do this one-handed. Where those connectors are at in there, you're going to want to test those. And I'll put it this way, so money's going to be upside, the number's going to be upside down, but you can still figure it out. So, looked it up online. The ohms on these is supposed to be between 8 and 11. And let's see what we're at. So, basically, because I'm doing this one-handed, it's going to, you see a lot of weird things. Alright, here we go. So, we are going to test our ohm. As soon as I get it in there, get a good connection. So, both of them are on there. Oh, very hard to hold still. There we go. It's testing the ohm. And we're at 9.7. Almost dropped the oil control valve. So, put some power to it and then hear it turn on. A 12-volt battery that goes in the car several times. Anyways, be back in a second and we'll install this. Alright, time to put it back in. Remember, there was 3 bolts that mount it. I'm going to grab the first one, line this up. 2 go on the left side, 1 goes on the right side. I'm going to rub a little oil over both mating surfaces. Go in with your first bolt on the right. Start that bolt a little bit. Now you want to take the bottom one on your left and start that one a little bit. And the last bolt here on the left, start that going in. Now I'm going to grab my wrench, just kind of flush these all up. Right, bottom left, top left, wrench on, and tight, and tight, and tight. I'm gonna look up the torque real quick. Forgot to do that earlier, and then we'll pull out our torque wrench and make sure those are torqued correctly. Anything inside the engine, always make sure you torque correctly. Alright, now for torquing the bolts on here, looked it up, made sure I got it correct, a couple different spots. Let's have a digital copy of a service manual. The bolts should be torqued to 9.8 newton meters. I got this little fancy torque wrench I got here offline. We're at 9.8 newton meters, and go down here and tighten them. Remember, don't over tighten these. You want to always check your torque on everything. See if I can somewhere where you can see. Alright, so first bolt on the right, got the 9 newton meters. Bolt on the bottom left, alright, 9 newton meters, and final one. Click. We're torqued on all of those. That's the only thing I had left to get done under the engine, or under the valve cover. I'm not going to put the new gasket on yet. I'm going to wait until I get both of the oil control valves changed. Right now I'm going to go over and I'm going to clean up the mating surface real well before I put the valve cover back on temporarily. And I'm going to pressure wash that out before I put it back on too. So I'm not going to make you watch that, but I just figured I'd tell you what I'm doing. Subscribe and look back for more videos. Thank you.